It's time to gear up for Eagles Panthers. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, when football is supposed to be played, nothing better. And I don't care about Bryce Young and what he did against Kansas City. I don't care what Bryce Young did against Tampa Bay. This should not be a contest, and I don't see this being a contest. This is different than the Ravens matchup when it was all about stick to your strengths and go get a W by playing tough, hard-nosed football. For me, you have an opportunity to annihilate this team, to embarrass them. And quite frankly, I want to see another element opened up with our offense. This needs to be an A.J. Brown game. It does. It needs to be an A.J. Brown game. And it has nothing to do with me thinking that he is an upset teammate or he's not happy or any sort of conversation that applies to that narrative. That's not what I'm talking about. But that dude is special. That dude has not had the same level of impact because of the aggressiveness with Saquon Barkley and our offensive line. And I think this is an opportunity to really open up that side of the playbook. And the Eagles should be able to pounce against this bad Carolina team to get some juices flowing in the pass game. It's smacking you right in the face. This should be an A.J. Brown game. So my question to you, do you want to see A.J. get going? Is that a big emphasis when looking at this matchup? Or do you not care? 215-592-9494. Do you just want to see them stick to Eagles football, destroy the Panthers, put up 3 touchdowns, and have a big lead, maybe 21-0, and then you could sort of just, I don't know, milk the rest of the clock, throw in some backups, and not have a stressful game. Forget about focusing on this, that, and the third, and just worry about sticking to who you are, and then let the rest play out as it will. And I'm a big believer in staying true to who you are, but once in a while, there is an opportunity. And this is the week where the opportunity is there to try and filter in more with A.J. Brown. I think it's there. Now, I want you all to listen before I explain into further detail on what this actually means with Saquon, A.J., and sort of the dynamic of this offense. I want you to listen to A.J. Brown, who spoke to the media in front of his locker prior to the weekend starting. Take a listen.
I think your targets are down like 30 from this time last year. How do you navigate that personally?
You guys are on it today.
What's that?
You own it today. It's the second week. Y'all asked me something like that, but I'm cool. Like I said, I'm just trying to maximize my opportunities as best as I can, and make plays when the ball is coming to me. So
now AJ handled that professionally. AJ handled that the right way. This is following some drama on social media, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he was asked about the offense, and he said he could only control, so much, and the ball has to come his way, and then he deletes the tweet, and he does all that. But I'm not really knocking AJ for how he's handled any of this. This doesn't relate to maybe previous years where I felt differently about the handling of media and his frustration. I don't think AJ's doing anything wrong, okay? I want to be very clear. But I just think there's a possibility of really exploding with the pass game. And I think against Carolina, you got a nice window to see if you can get just another layer to A.J. Brown in the passing game. At least try it. And if it doesn't work, fine. Then go back to what makes you special and run the football down their throat, get the W, and then we move on to the Steelers. But can I at least see a sense of urgency to establish something strong in that area? Now, let me give you a little analogy here. It's like this. I have an older brother. We don't really have much in common, okay? I grew up, I played hockey all my life. He grew up, and he's a musician. He lived in New Orleans. He played on Bourbon Street at a dual piano bar. When I tell you we are opposite, we are opposite. But we both had a dream, and he's very passionate about music. I was very passionate about hockey. My parents had to share the love and share the weekends and share the support. Now, my skill level was a little higher in my respected craft. Maybe the parents said, Brodes has a big game this weekend. We want to see if he wins the championship. Maybe they lean towards going to the rink. Well, at some point, they came together and said, Kyle, he's got a big gig. He's going to be playing the piano at a pretty special restaurant. I think it's our time to share our appreciation for what he's doing and take a little bit off of our Brodes love and maybe apply it a little bit to Kyle. That's Saquon and A.J. Brown. That's what that is. You can't neglect my brother, the musician. Sometimes you got to look his way. This is the weekend where A.J. Brown gets more of the support. That's all. It's that simple. I want to see something great. And it's there for the taking. It's there. This week lines up where you can absolutely emphasize that part of your team. Because, let's be honest, it's lacking a tad. And these are the type of games where you can look to see where you can get the improvement, where you can add a little bit more that can help you out in the long run. These are the type of games. And it's not as if focusing on that is truly something stupid, right? It's not like, hey, we need to get Britton Covey going. Hey, we got to look at Jahan Dotson more. All right, taking away from Saquon a tad and giving those looks to AJ is a pretty damn good thing to do. It's a winning recipe as well. 215-592-9494. Do you want to see AJ get going this week as badly as I do? Or are you cool being in chill mode and just letting it play out the way that it's been playing out all year long, maybe frustration early, and then by the end, they kick the opponent in the teeth and they run away with it maybe at some point in the second half, but the passing game still looks a little awkward? I think for this week, and I want to make this clear, I am stressing this week and this week only. I want to see a killer mindset trying to move the football downfield in the air and get A.J. Brown going. What say you? 215-592-9494. Coming up next, we will take your phone calls. We'll get the party started here. And we will also hear from a national reporter who shares his thoughts on if this is a trap game or not for Philadelphia. You're not going to want to miss it. It's Brodes, and it's 94 WIP. We started at awkward time with the breaks and the football game ending, so this is our first real big open long segment. Would really like to get your thoughts on Eagles Panthers tomorrow at 1 o'clock. This is my question I have for you. Do you want to see A.J. Brown get going as aggressively as I do in this matchup with Carolina? I'm looking at 1 week. This game right here that's staring right at us. I think it's time to have one of those whoa games from A.J. Brown. It's not about A.J. and his tweets and his deleted Twitter. It's just about the nature of what this playbook should be able to produce in the passing game. Not really seeing it yet. And what better way to potentially have a spark with your passing game getting going than doing it against a team that is so beatable like the Carolina Panthers? I believe when you run out on that football field, there is real reasons to believe that you can get an exceptional game out of your number one wide receiver. And we've yet to have the game that is so magnificent that you're just lost for words. You can't comprehend how someone like A.J. Brown is able to do the things that he does. We've seen it in flashes. I want to see it with multiple passes in a row. I want to see it on multiple drives in a row. I want to see it where he gets into the damn end zone 3 times in a game. Am I asking for too much? They can't do that against this Carolina squad? They should be able to. So do you want to see it as badly as I do, or are you okay with them just sticking to what has worked? And let's not try and get too cute. Let's not try and get too pretty. 215-592-9494. That's the phone number. Really would like to hear from you. Now, before we start attacking the phone lines, I want you to hear Emmanuel Acho on Fox Sports talking about potentially if this is a trap game for the Eagles against Carolina. Take a listen.
Like, it's not a trap game. I don't think the Eagles are trappable.
Yeah.
And the reason I don't think the Eagles are trappable is because they are a team of overachievers. The Eagles are a team of a bunch of players who have been told you can't, and now they can. Like Zach Bond was told you can't be a starting middle linebacker. Now he's one of the best defensive players in football. Cooper DeJean, I'm sure at some point in his life was told you can't be a defensive back. And now he's one of the best defensive backs that you're out here seeing. Josh Sweat was a 4th-round pick. I'm sure he was told you can't be an elite pass rusher out there leading the Eagles in sacks. Nolan Smith was told, hey, you're likely about to be a bust. And now you see what Nolan Smith is doing. Nakobe Dean, hey, you can't be a starter. You see what Nakobe Dean is out there doing. Reed Blankenship, 7th-round pick out of Middle Tennessee. Hey, told you can't, and now you can. The Eagles are not a team that just rolls out there based upon their talent and they win. They're a team of dudes that try really hard, and hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Now, if you're talented and you work hard, you're elite, and that's what the Eagles are. I don't think the Eagles are trappable because they're a team of dudes who go out there every single Sunday, and they give it their best effort because they have to. They might not be the most talented walk-off-the-bus crew, but they are a team of dudes who commit every single Sunday.
Now, there's a few things there. The reason why this is important and applies to our conversation tonight is if you feel getting away from what makes you special can make something really bad happen, I don't think it's possible for this group to have a trap game. We've been throwing that phrase out there for essentially every week over the last few games. Is this a trap game? Is this a trap game? Is this a trap game? And maybe not Baltimore being a, quote, trap game, but maybe that's the game that you fall just because of the competition. But they didn't because the Eagles are so great. I don't think trying to emphasize the passing game can screw up the Eagles against this Panthers team because they can't fall for a trap game. They're just too good. They really are just too good. And I think if they realize targeting number 11 isn't working the way that I would want it to or the way they would want it to, then they'd probably get back to the basics and get back to the fundamentals. I'm not saying you have to drill it home until the final buzzer, and if you have to go down with a sinking ship and the pass game is all you have on the table, you got to live with the results. No, at some point get back to your basics and then just finish out the ball game, and then we'll move forward after that. I would like to see it, though, sort of be on the play call sheet as the goal. I want the goal to be win the game, but you should be able to win the game by getting this pass game started more. It's just something that is a little bit sour with the taste in my mouth, just a little bit, is they haven't been able to get that to the level it needs to be. And why not Carolina be the team to see if there's something to it? 215-592-9494. That's where we get started. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Mike in Delaware. What's up, Mike?
My man, Brodes. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you, Mike?
Good. So, big game for Saquon and a big flex game for AJ. Thank you. Have a good night. Don't have to be mutually exclusive. I think they could each go for $150 and 2 touchdowns, and the Eagles could win by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and everybody could be happy. I don't see why they can't have both.
Listen,
So
I don't think that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, Saquon can still have his for sure. I just want to see AJ have that pop off moment. You know, we haven't had it this year where it was really the AJ Brown game, and if we did, it was so early on that I even forget about it. But why not now? Why not now be the AJ Brown game?
Well, and also, ironically, that could make it even easier for Saquon because if you get out to a 2-touchdown lead, now you can just run. He can get his $150 by the beginning of the third quarter, and he can rest the whole rest of the game. He gets his numbers. AJ gets his numbers. Eagles get a flex win. They avoid the trap. Everybody wins. Check every box.
I love that. Yeah, and I actually have that written down to get to at some point here, which is, a lot of the talk has been, how do we somehow limit Saquon and let's not run him into the ground? Well, if you can get a bunch of points on the board and have explosive plays and maybe score a couple touchdowns early because AJ's taking it to the house with some big bombs or something, then maybe we don't need to give Saquon Barkley 25, 26, 27 carries, and then we get to chill.
Amen. I wanted, if I have a second, talk
sure.
quickly about. I'm your Maddie and Johnny Gaudreau guy. I drive by the Memorial Friday and Saturday.
Yes, I remember.
My girlfriend's back and forth, and
yep.
I'm going by there in a couple minutes, and I always think of you, and I know how reverential you are to them, and I appreciate it. I wanted to quickly say, I'm sure you caught all the stuff in Calgary this week and how beautiful and classy that was, and what a really good thing to do in spite of the awful circumstances. But Calgary stepped up and they brought the family out. It was wonderful.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I actually was with the family. It was a couple days ago. It was Maddie's 30th birthday, and we had cake, we had food, we did a whole thing. So as soon as they got home from Calgary, we celebrated Maddie's 30th, and it was just a good time to celebrate what he meant to all of us. So yeah, Calgary
Wonderful.
did an amazing job, and then I got to see the family a couple days ago, and always special, always special.
Good for you. That's wonderful. And quick question: who's a comp for Michkov? Who's your comp from years past or still playing in the league? Who's your comp for Michkov, the way he plays and what his potential is?
Listen, it's a great question. And Mike, thanks for the call, man. It's a good question. I know some have mentioned Kucherov, and if he ends up being Nikita Kucherov, I'll fall over. I don't know if I'll be able to handle it, but he's I'm going to go with the cop-out answer. He's his own. He's his own. He had 2 goals today. Very disappointing finish in Boston, by the way. I tweeted out all sorts of 2010 moments. Simone Gagne, Game 7, game winner, breaking all the Bruins' hearts, saying nothing's better than puck in Boston. And then the Flyers coughed up a couple goal lead, and it was rough. But let me tell you something, Luke. Matvei Michkov, that's all I care about this year is him scoring 1 billion goals and having all these points. He is so legit, it hurts.
He's the main reason I've been to more Flyers games this year than Sixers games.
Wow.
I'm a basketball guy through and through for my entire life. I was born, when they give you a hat when you're first born? I was born in 2001, so they gave me a Sixers hat when I was born, so I was cursed from the beginning. But never been a huge hockey guy. Michkov has my attention every single time they play. That dude is unreal. I was calling 2 games today. I see my phone and see he scored 2 goals in about 2 seconds. I'm like, oh my God. He is unbelievable. Every single night there's some kind of highlight from him.
What, you calling games?
Yeah, I do play-by-play for, just around the area, some college, some upper high school stuff.
I didn't know that.
If anyone was tuning in to the D3 Swarthmore basketball earlier today, it was an incredible game against Johns Hopkins, let me tell you.
Are you being sarcastic, or was it actually great? Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I'm glad. I want to hear some tape.
It was an 89-87 win for Swarthmore.
Wow.
Darn it, we're letting it fly.
All right. I want to see some tape for sure. I want to hear some tape.
Gotcha.
I want to hear that luscious voice on a basketball call. You know what I mean? All right, let's go to Dustin in the Northeast. What's up, Dustin?
Yo, Brodes. How are you, brother?
What's up, man? I'm good. How are you? That's way more important than me.
Oh, man, living the dream, dude. Living the dream.
Beautiful.
Real quick, I know you got to let me go, but Brodes, I got to disagree with you, man.
Okay.
I was telling Luke, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. What they're doing right now, the NFL doesn't understand. If Saquon Barkley had half of what the Eagles line is giving him this year throughout his entire career, he would have went down as one of the greatest running backs of all time. I get in the argument with the camera about it all the time. You can't be afraid to use what's working right now because he can get any sort of freak injury in practice. And I understand you want to keep the carries down to try and keep him healthy. But, dude, right now, he's doing what our bum Joel Embiid can't do. When he goes down and he takes hits, he knows how to fall. And I don't want to put the jinx on him or anything like that. But what he's doing this year, you got to keep riding those coattails. And I think that's not why we're seeing the type of childish behaviors we see on the sideline last year with A.J. Brown, because A.J. Brown realizes this is bigger than A.J. Brown getting a 225-yard game. They have a chance right now, Brodes, to where their defense, and I think, Luke, you were saying win by like 3 scores, or was that the last guy? Saying win by 3. I will be pissed off on Monday if they allow this team to score 2 touchdowns on them. That's how much I believe in this damn defense. Let's go, Birds.
I love it, Dustin. Thank you for the call, man. Thanks for talking a little hockey, too. Always fun to sprinkle that in. I get it. You want to stick with what works, and I do believe in that 99.9% of the time, especially with this group. Last week, I did an entire show based off of essentially saying, this team wins. Jalen wins. This works. So let's cool the Jets on Jalen can't do this, Jalen can't do that. They win. And that applies to the team in general, right? Not just the quarterback. That conversation was strictly more about the quarterback. This one is more about just the team. But once in a while, there's a way to sort of go outside your comfort zone. Hear me out. When I was younger, we used to do something called Freaky Friday, based off the movie, where on Fridays, we had ice cream for breakfast. Now, that sounds crazy. I'm a young kid. I'm 10, 11, 12. What are you doing eating ice cream for breakfast? It's Freaky Friday. Well, this game against Carolina is Freaky Friday. That's the day you get your ice cream for breakfast. Doesn't make sense, right? It's not the norm. But 99.9% of the time, I'm eating a pork roll, egg, and cheese. I'm eating waffles. I'm getting French toast. I'm getting your standard, normal, basic breakfast. But once in a while, that day comes around where you get a little weird. What's wrong with getting a little weird against the Carolina Panthers? The Eagles are way too good. and I'm laughing because think about what I'm saying. I'm saying, let's get the ball to A.J. Brown, right? I'm not saying let's get the ball to Greg Ward. I'm not saying let's get the ball to any of these whatever wide receivers we've had over the years. I'm saying let's get the ball to A.J. Brown. And we're like, I don't know. I'm just having fun. But, our previous caller, I don't know. Let's stick with what works. I'm going, let's get the ball to A.J. I don't know. We're afraid to get the ball to A.J. and make him a strong part of this win on Sunday. It's just kind of comical, no? The game is lined up where you should be able to do whatever you want. You dictate the way this game goes. It's going to be there. I don't think it's ludicrous to ask them if they can try to establish something in that area of their game. So then who knows? Maybe it actually bleeds into the following week. Maybe it can get rhythm going. You see the ball work really well in the pass game this week. Then you see a Steelers team, and you're able to get something going against Mike Tomlin and his defense. And then there becomes rhythm that's established. Is that absurd? Here's my question. Do you want to see A.J. get going this week against Carolina as badly as I do? Because let me tell you something. I'm hungry for it. I think it is very, very possible, and I don't think it's irrational. I would never ask the Eagles to do something that is straight up irrational and stupid. I wouldn't want them to do something that is so bad for the long run of this team that I'm trying to have a small gain early in the season here that would be a detriment for them in the long run. If anything, I think this actually helps out in the long run. I think this could be extremely beneficial and be what could even add something to what is already great to make them even more unstoppable than they already are. Go after Carolina in the passing game. Do you want to see A.J. in the passing game as badly as I do on Sunday? Or are you okay with status quo? Are you okay with sort of the way that they have been establishing their identity all throughout the season? 215-592-9494. Let's go to Jim in Southwest Philly. What's up, Jim?
How you doing, bro? This is my first time talking to you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you calling.
Hey, but listen, though, man, I got to disagree with you because it's not AJ. AJ is great. It's Jalen. We don't want to see him more involved in the offense because then that's when turnovers happening. All kind of bad stuff. We just want to see Saquon run the ball like we've been doing and the offensive line doing their thing like they've been doing and, keep it like that.
Yeah, I mean, I get that it's working, and I don't disagree that just like your overall take here is Saquon, the O-line, they're doing their thing for sure. But I guess where I differ is I believe in Jalen. I do think that Jalen can do more in the pass game than the narrative is out there, and it's not like every single throw has to go his way. I just feel we can do more with AJ, and I don't think that that's crazy. And I believe in Jalen. I think Jalen is a quarterback that can pick apart a Carolina team enough to my satisfaction with A.J. Brown. I think he's a good quarterback who can do it. So I believe in him, and I'm not worried about turnovers maybe as much as you are.
Well, it's not that I don't believe in him. It's that I believe that less is more with Jalen. The less he's responsible for, the better the team is. And not saying he's garbage, and I don't like throwing around the term game manager, but I just believe like the less of him, the better. When he got to make decisions and that's what he's going to have to do to get the ball to AJ.
I think you're dancing around it. I don't know if you do feel good about Jalen. You're dancing around. Jim, you just said, I don't know. I like Jalen, but I hate when he has to make decisions.
No. I believe in Jalen.
Uh-huh.
It's a little different. Because I believe in the Eagles, so I have – all right, put it like this. I have to believe in Jalen. You know what I'm saying? And I came to terms with myself that instead of complaining about him every week and what he's not doing, just be thankful for what he is doing, and I'm okay with that. But I don't just think he's a top-tier quarterback, so I just think the less he does, the better.
All right, Jim, listen, thank you so much for the first-time call. I appreciate it. Jim doesn't believe in Jalen. Oh, man.
He was doing his best.
He was
to
dancing.
Try to make a point.
He was dancing.
We got there.
Yup, he was doing his little ballet, tiptoeing around. I like Jalen. I just hate when he has to throw the football and make decisions.
I just hate when he has to do the main thing that he is employed to do.
I love it. Thanks, Jim. I really do appreciate the call. So, if he had 19 throws last week, I believe it finished around 19. If he has... I'm not asking for 40 throws. I don't want to make this strictly all about him just throwing every down. But if it was 19, what if we got 27, 28? 27, 26, 27, in that range. I'm not asking for 50 dropbacks and 17 shots downfield, but I think that there's a way to add a layer to the passing game. And with that, organically, A.J. Brown can have one of those monster weeks where he pops off the stat sheet and maybe he's the talking point instead of Saquon being the talking point the way that he has been all year long. You should be able to handle Carolina, and I don't think I'm asking for too much. All right, 215-592-9494. Do you want to see AJ get going as badly as I do? Or are you okay with how they've been operating as a team and you don't want them to mess with anything? 215-592-9494. We will continue rocking your calls. And coming up next, how good has Bryce Young been the last few weeks? We'll take a look at it because that's been a hot talking point with Kansas City and the game against Tampa. We'll look at the opposing quarterback. It's Brodes, and it's 94 WIP.